All right, let's come on over to the big board. I'm joined here by Steve Kornacki. Steve, we were watching last night, hanging on your every word. I don't see you genuinely shocked very often, but at one point when these states started rolling through the South by such margins, you did say this was shocking. Now, this is a delegate game. The number of states is impressive last night, but as we stood here yesterday morning, a lot of the speculation was, can Joe Biden keep the delegate margin under 100, trailing Bernie Sanders by 100? Will it be 150? A different story as we wake up this morning.
Yeah, and we should say, this is the current count allocated by NBC News. There are still, hundreds of delegates, even in these states that have been called, places like Tennessee, North Carolina. You still got delegates that Biden's going to squeeze out of those states. You still got dozens in some cases, and you still got California out there. But the picture is coming into focus. Biden is probably going to make that 15% threshold in California. That was the only outstanding question. With that in mind and with everything we're seeing here, even if Biden ends up absorbing like a 20-point loss in California when they add all those numbers up, and it's not looking like it's going to be 20, but even if he does, I think you're looking at a scenario where Joe Biden ends the night ahead of Bernie Sanders by about 30 delegates. That's like the conservative end of things right now. Biden's going to be ahead. And this was supposed to be Sanders' big night. This was supposed to be the night that Sanders ran up a margin of 250, 300 delegates out of California. It was supposed to be the night that Sanders won Texas, won it probably by double digits, got a big delegate haul there, got something big out of Colorado. He did win that. Give him credit for that. It was supposed to be the night when he basically drew even across the Southeast, maybe won in North Carolina, maybe won in Virginia. He lost Virginia by 30. He was hoping to beat Elizabeth Warren in Massachusetts, knock her out, and shut Joe Biden out of delegates. Instead, Joe Biden wins Massachusetts. He was hoping to win Minnesota. Joe Biden won Minnesota. Joe Biden, coast to coast here. This is a night for Joe Biden. This was supposed to be the Sanders delegate night. And when you look at all those patterns you guys were just talking about demographically and what comes next, I mean, you could just see it. Next week, we're going to be in Mississippi. If you look what happened next door in Alabama, if you look what's happening with the black vote all around the South, Mississippi is not a big state, but Mississippi can be a big delegate state for Joe Biden. If he's getting the margins we're seeing all throughout the South in a state like Mississippi, he could net over Sanders, we're going to say like 30 delegates just out of Mississippi. Michigan is the big state that's up next week. We'll all be talking about Michigan. There's 125 delegates. Let's say Sanders wins, but it's a close race. Sanders will net 5, 10 delegates. By what we're seeing demographically is Sanders is due to take some huge hits in the South, in Mississippi, in Georgia, in Louisiana, and in Florida. His polling has been terrible in Florida. And so if he's in an even race delegate-wise right now or down a little bit, look at these hits that he is about to absorb. Where can he make up for him on this map? And that coalition everybody's just describing, very hard to see that at this point.
Biden has huge margins of older voters. Obviously, that'll come into play in Florida. I want to ask you about turnout. Joe referenced it in the state of Virginia. Double 2016 and even greater than 2008, where you had Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton on the ballot. Did we see that play out across the country?
We saw a few places. I think this is the most dramatic. If you add everything up, you got their vote totals there. You're at like 1.3 million in change. And again, look. In 2016, it was 782,000. From there to 1.3 million. And you got Fairfax County. This is the D.C. suburbs everyone was just talking about here. This is the biggest county in the state. This was a big win for Biden. Turnout was up here 100,000. 100,000 people. It helps not having a real Republican primary there in Virginia, but that also speaks to everything we've been talking about in politics since 2018. Those blue wave suburbanites in places like Northern Virginia becoming part of the Democratic Party.
Steve, hang in for 1 second.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.